Can I force my 8-month pregnant daughter to clean my house? Story. My son and his girlfriend have been dating since college. They graduated last year and are 22 and 23. They used to have an apartment together, but soon found out she was pregnant. I was not happy when they informed me. I knew they could not afford it, but they wanted to keep the baby. They also are doing a shotgun wedding soon. Soon after, they asked to move into my home. It is a large home with plenty of space. They wanted to save money for the baby. I made it clear they will need to do chores but their own food. They agreed and are so messy. I have talked to both of them before and they keep telling me they will do better. My son has been traveling for a job and it became clear that she is the one being a mess. In short, she is slob. She leaves dishes out constantly. Her stuff is all over the house. Her bathroom is so gross. I have talked to he over and over again. I have talked to my son and he has talked to her. She is 8 months pregnant and her excuse is she cannot clean. Well, she hasn't been cleaning since she moved in 6 months ago. I came home with groceries and tripped over her shoes. I had enough. I told her that she isn't giving birth to Jesus, and if she doesn't clean, then she can get out of my house. She started to cry, and my son is pissed at me. I reminded him that I'm doing them a huge favor and doubled down on cleaning response 1. I'm going to reluctantly say, not the a-hole, because technically you're in the right. But really, you should have dealt with this months ago. After she has the baby, she's not going to get to a full night's sleep for months, and she sounds like she's high risk for PPD, which, yeah. Not sure what your living situation is, but if I was in your shoes, I'd divide the house up and put one of them or myself in an apartment and then just start charging them rent. If they're so messy, it's damaging your property. Ignore the people that are going to tell you to kick them out. Don't do that to your grandson. Reply 1. If she doesn't start cleaning now, then she will not with a baby. I cannot live with that. If she doesn't shape up, she's getting out. They had 6 months to save up money. This is literally her last chance. I don't care how close she is. My son can find the apartment for them to move into. Reply 2, pick up everything she has left lying around in trash bags. Put the bags in the garage. This is petty but damn people who don't respect other people's homes. Tell her you threw things out because she didn't seem to care about them. Then you give items back. And let her know that everything that she doesn't take care of will be going in the dumpster next time. If she's high risk, or you don't want to be hard on her because pregnant, then your son needs to pay for a maid. Reply 3, this is the way. My former SO left dishes, papers, books, newspapers everywhere. I started hiding them at first. Except the dishes, Avi, I still had to pick them up. He never asked for them, probably because I had asked him 1,000 times to be more tidy. Our house got neater, but his office was a disaster area. Reply 4. If she doesn't start cleaning at 8 months pregnant, then she won't with a baby. Like, yeah, sure. But she's 8 months pregnant. Is it objectively horrendously messy? Or do you have exacting standards? Not saying you can't have those standards, but standards differ. Is her bathroom, which I presume you don't have to go into, just a cluttered counter when you prefer to keep them bare? Or is there carp stains on the toilet as developed as her baby? If the latter, not the a-hole. But if the former, everyone sucks here, she should be putting dishes away after using them. You're well within your right to want things to the standard you want, but it doesn't mean you aren't holding someone to too high of a standard, especially if they are significantly pregnant. There are countless posts in this sub about people being tired and getting no help, keeping a house from their partners, parents, or in-laws, adding stress. And people rightly comment that those posters aren't the AH for them being tired or annoyed. It feels kind of like you're mad at her for getting pregnant and then rushing to get married and venting it out in this arena instead. Reply 5. If they are living in her house, she has every right to expect them to live to her standards. This doesn't sound like clutter, judging by OP's comments about dirty dishes. It blows my mind how many people here think that being pregnant is an excuse for being a pig. Response 2. NTA. There are women out there who are or were ready to pop, taking care of a house and toddler on their own while working. I personally know a few. You are doing them a favor. It's not your job anymore to take care of them, and definitely not your job to take care of their baby. While it is nice to have a grandparent that's involved, that doesn't mean a grandparent that is playing maid, chef, landlord, part-time parent to adults and baby. You gave them the conditions on which you'd house them. They are no longer following them. If you want to completely cover your butt, because I don't know what kind of people your daughter-in-law and son are, Start doing things in writing. They have until X to clean up and continue to maintain their part of the house to a minimum standard, or else they can no longer live in your home. This is assuming they could actually claim certain legal tenant rights in your location. However, if they decide to name their baby Jesus, I would have to laugh. Reply 1. I just had a baby 10 days ago. Know what I was doing 11 days ago? Cleaning the damn house because no one is going to do it for me. Oh, and guess what I did today? Yeah, I cleaned the damn house. She is pregnant, not terminally ill. Also, her hormones should be making her nest. Usually that means wanting carp clean. Edit. People, it's 2024. I'm not hauling buckets of water or bashing clothes by the riverbank, putting a plate in the dishwasher, moving a sweeper over the floor, and pressing the button on the laundry machine will not make me herniate. Also, I have a perfectly good support system. In my country, every woman get a postpartum nurse for free. Also, getting back to normal quickly is good for recovery. As long as you listen to your body, you will be fine. Reply 2. Sorry you're having to do it all yourself, but you sound like you're working hard for your little munchkin. Hope you're doing well and enjoying those squishy little baby cheeks. Those were always the best part of my nieces and nephews. Laugh out loud. Reply 3. Nah, man, I do it by choice. My husband has like 3 months of paid leave. My mom is currently staying with me, and I had a postpartum nurse for 8 days. I just want things done my way, and only way to get that is to do it myself. Reply 4. Girl, it isn't a flex that you're not even 2 weeks out from bringing a human into the world and not resting. Congrats on having a carpty support system who can't even help a new mom clean. Reply 5. Thank you. It's not a badge of honor. I'm not loving this celebration of women carpting on other women about not being perfect enough. Response 3. Info. If she were giving birth to Jesus, would you actually feel any different about her cleanliness habits? Response 4. This is only going to get worse. Soon, you will be tripping over dirty diapers and rotting formula bottles and trying to get rid of cockroaches and rodents. Living with your daughter-in-law will make you resentful of your grandkid. Throwing her out will make your son resent you and also interfere with you having a healthy relationship with your grandkid. Not the a-hole. She either cleans up after herself in your home, or she can hope someone will clean up after her in the nearest shelter. Best write the eviction notice now. If your address is legally her address, it'll be hard to throw her out. Reply 1. I think OP needs to be firm with her boundaries and lay out real-life consequences. It may seem cruel now, but kicking them out is truly the best thing. Yes, you may lose your son because this is how entitled people act. They get angry when you no longer tolerate their disrespect. But in the long run, you are doing your son the biggest favor. You are teaching him actions have consequences, and maybe while they're out on the streets, maybe they will start to become more responsible. Right now, they see you as a pushover and someone to use and abuse because you love them. They think it's their God-given right to do what they want because you're his mother and should be taking care of his girlfriend. Time for him to man the female up and start taking responsibility for his actions instead of running to mommy when life gets hard. Reply 2. Oops, house =, their rules. Then again, basic cleanliness isn't really a rule. It's a default common courtesy. Response 5. ESH. While some cleaning chemicals and chores might need to be avoided while pregnant, she can certainly do the bare minimum of not leaving a mess. But why are you just threatening to kick her out when your son is also part of the problem? He should be cleaning up after himself, and he should be helping out his pregnant girlfriend. Reply 1. I like how you are pointing to her son when her son isn't even around to make a mess. Love this. Not every woman is worth defending just because she's a woman. There are trash people on both sides. Can we at least admit that? Reply 2. Son is traveling for work. Girlfriend is a slob. It will only get worse once the baby comes. Poor child will. Begin life with parents not up to parenting. Reply 3. She can do dishes. She can keep things in order. She can put yangs in their place. She doesn't need to leave shoes and her personal stuff everywhere. She is messy and must put her carp together. Reply 4. NTA tilde and give me a break. She is going to be a mother. She needs to get off her lazy ass and keep her spaces clean. None of the excuses are valid since so many companies make safe cleaning products. Women have been cleaning and preparing a home for children for ages. A lot of single moms out there didn't get a helping hand, didn't get to stay home, and they managed just fine. OP is not the a-hole. Reply 5. So many natural cleaners exist, so there is zero excuse if you are pregnant but able to clean. They are guests in OP's house. If you can physically make a mess, you can physically clean up. I'd be super pissed too if I was OP response 6. I was mowing my lawn by choice, at 9 months hoping to move things along. Pregnant women without medical issues can function just fine. She is a slob, and no amount of complaining is going to change that. You need to decide if this is how you want to live because it will get way worse once there is a baby, not the a-hole. Reply 1. Are you me? My nesting was centered around mowing and gardening. I absolutely love being outside. Picking up after yourself has nothing to do with being pregnant, and that poor baby will be growing up in a pigsty. No insult to pigs. Reply 2. Not everyone can do that. I could barely do dishes at 9 months pregnant with my third. With my second kid, I had sciatic pain so bad the last week I couldn't even walk without holding onto something/someone for support. Not everyone's pregnancy is the same. Reply 3. Thank you. So many self-righteous moms on here. Like, congratulations on being so tough. But that's not the norm, and it's not what's even suggested by most doctors. Reply 4. That was for you, but for many others, depression is a hard thing to kick, especially when her baby daddy is traveling all the time and his mother is overbearing. Response 7. Maybe this is an annoying perspective, but maybe she's never had to clean up after herself and she's just so oblivious to it. I know she's been asked, but she's still so young and is dealing with an unplanned pregnancy. We've been given no info about how she's doing mentally right now. Is she even okay? I'm a full-blown adult, and my anxiety was so bad with my last pregnancy, I felt useless. Where are her parents and support people? When you talk to her about cleaning up, how are you talking to her? It sounds like you weren't happy with this situation from the start, wondering how much that contributed to this arrangement not going well. She's hardly an adult and in a really vulnerable place. I guess I feel like her side of the story would be insightful. Reply 1. Thanks for this. It breaks my heart how everyone's immediately jumping to the conclusion that it'll only get worse and how OP should kick them out. I find it interesting that we're told nothing about this girl. How is pregnancy for her? What does she do all day? Does she work? What's it like for her to be 8 to mostly pregnant while her partner is on a long business trip? Does she have friends nearby? How is she feeling about becoming a mom? Is she excited, happy, anxious, constantly overwhelmed? Does OP even care about becoming a grandma, or is she only worried about the state of her home? I am currently pregnant and not a naturally tidy person. The fatigue is unlike anything I have ever experienced in my life, and I used to really party and deal with hangovers at work, laugh out loud. Add some anxiety on top of that, and I'm deeply grateful for a supportive partner, getting groceries delivered, and most importantly, over 15 years of living by myself and solidifying habits be how to take care of myself/my house. I'm not saying there isn't a line that might be crossed here or that daughter-in-law should get a carte blanche for any housework. But a lot more information is needed before I feel anyone should feel confident in saying this girl deserves to lose her home while about to give birth. Replies 2. I could barely walk through my pregnancies. I had pelvic separation and I'm hypermobile, and even getting up to pee was just awful. I was also catatonically tired through first and third trimesters, had wicked morning sickness for 4 months, immediately followed by heartburn, couldn't eat more than a mouthful at once, had a horrific skin reaction pop up all over my scalp with baby #2. Pregnancy sucked. Not 36 hours after birth, I stood up and started crying because it suddenly didn't hurt. Reply 3. I have never been super neat or organized. Was a total mess of anxiety during my pregnancy and had postpartum OCD and depression. Every new mom I saw happy and functioning was another testament to my failure as a mother. It was hard for me to do anything but keep my son and myself alive. This is not exaggerating. I found out at 55 I had ADHD, and everything that told me I was a failure was my neurodivergent brain. Being judged all the time for being not good enough, a slob, having my ex-mother-in-law clean my house after I spent a week cleaning and organizing was like a stab in the gut. This soon-to-be new mother needs some caring and understanding and less judgment. Reply 4. Yeah, I read this whole thing wondering if the girl has ever been tested for ADHD. It sounds like she has executive dysfunction issues. If she has emotional dysregulation with her pregnancy hormones, there's no way she's not going to cry in response to criticism. Poor thing. Reply 5. These are all the things I was thinking. Or maybe she didn't have someone in her life that taught her how to do all the things she needs to know about running a house or keeping things clean and tidy. It took me a while to get a groove. And during my first pregnancy, I was so exhausted I would get home from work and sleep for hours, wake up to eat dinner, and then back to sleep until work the next morning. I definitely agree her side and son's would be helpful. It really reads like OP is mad about the baby shotgun wedding and that she agreed to help. I don't really like the term shotgun wedding, seems so antiquated and rude, but that's just me laugh out loud. And you're also right about how young they both are right now. They just graduated and probably had different thoughts about what life would look like right now. Not an excuse, just a consideration when thinking about her mental state. It kills me reading all these people who are bragging about all the amazing chores they were doing while they were pregnant and up until the moment the baby came, and again a day later. Good for them, but assuming that all women should be the clearly superwomen that they are, and judging them because they are not, is hateful. Being pregnant is tough and different for everyone. Heck, all 3 of my pregnancies were different for me, both physically and mentally. I guess, all that just to say that I agree with you. More information is needed and less judgment of this pregnant 22-year-old. Laugh out loud. Response 8. NTA. I get that you probably were nice for the first few weeks and months, and now Pregazilla is thinking she can give birth and the angels should wait on her hand and foot. If she can't do this now, she won't do it postpartum. If she's not working, then she can at least pick up the stuff on the floor or not leave things around the house at minimum. I get if the chemicals made her sick or she was having a really bad pregnancy, but I get the feeling she felt having a baby was a get out of working for free card. Just tell your son that he has to find a new apartment now because she's not adhering to the agreement. Response 9. NTA. The girl is a slob. If she can't pick up after herself, how is she going to pick up after a baby? This girl is far from ready to be a mother. Tell your son to get his girlfriend to clean up after herself, or they will have to go. Reply 1. After consult my crystal ball, I see daughter-in-law getting worse after the baby comes. Then daughter-in-law leaving and abandoning the baby. Then son expecting OP to raise the baby. OP needs to prepare for this. Response 10. Honestly, everyone sucks here. She should take care to be more tidy, but honestly, you don't care if you're an a-hole. You just came here to vent and get vindicated for your point of view. If you were willing to kick out your son, the mother of his child, and unborn grandchild without any guilt or worry over the outside perception it will cause, you would have done it. Instead, you're trying to get the internet on your side, so that when people give you hell, you can say, but the internet randos agree with me. Reply 1, right? This is either some sort of self-indulgent carp or a troll post. I'm pregnant with number 2, and while I do still tidy up the best I can, anyone who's been pregnant knows it's hella harder to do it in the last few months. Like, I'm not saying that gives anyone the right to mess things up willy-nilly, but I'd understand they wouldn't be as tidy as normal. I'm wondering what OP even defines as messy. For us, I can live with the shoes not being in place, or maybe a disheveled bed at 8 months pregnant, laugh out loud, but some people are very anal about being tidy to the extreme. I've met people like this laugh out loud. Response 11. NTA. You've asked and nothing has changed. Like, of course you're going to snap. Unfortunately, you either need to simply get them out of your house or do something drastic to get your point across. More likely than not, the former will be your only option. But if you want to try the latter, just tell them that if they act like children, they're going to be treated like children. Changing the Wi-Fi password daily and giving it to them after chores are done is pretty effective for kids. If they revert to using data, buy a signal jammer for the house. Response 12. Info. Is the problem really the mess, or are you just looking for a reason years old have them out? You sound very resentful of this relationship and pregnancy. I doubt you'd be happy even if she was pristine. And from the way you write about her and the things you've said to her, I doubt it's a nice living situation for daughter-in-law either. Like, is she actually okay or do you not care? She's young, is having an unplanned pregnancy. Her husband is working away. She doesn't seem to have her own support network since she's had to go live with you, and her living situation seems tense at best. How is her mental health? How is her physical health? Do they have anywhere else to go? Could they realistically get a place to live and move in the few weeks they have left before she's due, especially with your son working away? Or are you essentially threatening to kick her to the streets? Also, just bear in mind that maternal stress exposes the baby to the stress hormone cortisol as well. Mothers being stressed and unhappy can literally change a baby's brain chemistry, and studies are starting to link this with poor mental health in later life. Response 13. EIH, you can't tell me that these two had a sparkling clean apartment and suddenly changed to slobs for no reason when they moved in with you. You knew what they were and you let them move in. Why are you surprised? For crying out loud, you raised your son. You are shocked that he is a slob who is okay living with a bigger slob. And screaming at your daughter-in-law is not a solution. And frankly, you're old enough to know that. Waiting until your son is not at home and your daughter-in-law is 8 months along to have your screaming fit really doesn't make me have much sympathy for you. Look, either you are willing to support them to some extent for the sake of your future grandchild, or you're not. The choice is yours. If you feel like they are abusing your generosity, then give them a move-out date and accept the pieces as they fall. Decide what you're willing to risk to have a clean house. Likewise, your son and daughter-in-law need to decide what they're willing to do to provide for their future kid. Reply 1. Thank you. She raised this human. His shortcomings are her fault, frankly. She released this slob into the world for another woman to deal with, and she's upset that someone else didn't fix him good enough. Tough break, Cookie. Now it's time to decide if 10 minutes a day of tidying is a worthy exchange for a relationship with her grandchild. Response 14, YTA. Are they hoarder-level messy, or are they just not to your standards? You're missing some key details. Besides, if she's 8 months pregnant, your son needs to start cleaning more than she does. Reply 1. That's what I'm wondering too. What is messy to OP? If it's a disheveled bed or something like not cleaning a plate in the sink right away, F that noise. If it's a bunch of carp all over the house or hoarding-style behavior with wrappers everywhere, okay, I understand then. Reply 2. I had to scroll way too far to find this. It sounds like OP just wants them out. They said tripping over shoes was the final straw. If untidy shoes make you a slob, I'm definitely a slob. Response 15. You're not wrong, but your whole attitude screams a-hole, to be honest. I hope you actually show care towards your grandchild when it arrives, because it really doesn't seem like you care for it or its mother right now. Hopefully they can move out soon and cut down their contact with you and your negativity. Can see very clearly by your responses to comments here, you just really don't seem like a nice person at all. Response 16. Esh. You wait until she's ready to pop. Your son is not there and say it so offensively? You should have put your foot down a long time ago. Not wait until you explode. It is hard to move at 8 months. SP if it's hot. Doesn't excuse it though. I completely understand. My stepdaughter granddaughter just moved out after being here 10 months. She has cleaned 0 exits. My 7-year-old granddaughter helps but not mom. And I only expected her to clean after herself or her child or their bathroom/bedroom. I would throw little hints which she would intentionally ignore, but it's my own fault. This is on you for allowing it. Response 17. NTAPTF. Are these comments on the kind of relationship OP wants with her grandchild? Do y'all seriously want OP to let them walk all over her? Are you suggesting holding the grandchild over OP's head is reasonable? Some of you guys in La La Land for OP has brought this up multiple times, and she has realized the source of the mess is the pregnant girlfriend. Therefore, she has a problem with the girlfriend. Being pregnant is not a free pass, you guys, and it's not up to OP to facilitate that. Response 18, NTA. You both agreed on terms before they moved in, and they're not living up to their end of the bargain. It's much easier to clean while pregnant, unless you have complications, than it is after the baby is born, so you can definitely expect it to get worse. I'm sorry you're in this situation. Response 19. In general, not the a-hole, but insisting now that she is 8 months pregnant is kinda, you're the a-hole. Honestly, at 8 months, even bending down to pick up your shoes is a huge task. Your son should be the one helping out this late in the pregnancy. Response 20. I I had HG. I can assure you I did not clean, and if anyone had suggested that I clean, I'd have puked on them. Reply 1. Had to scroll too far to find this. I notice OP doesn't actually say anything about how future DL's pregnancy is going, if there are any complications like HG that could make cleaning difficult/impossible.